let's create some fun and easy paper flowers and let's see how we can use them in our journals. Welcome, this is Barbara from in Austria, and this is your channel for vintage inspired art. So I played around trying to make some flowers yesterday and today, and I was just having the best time. So I thought, let's not be stingy, let's share the process with you so you can also have a wonderful time creating some flowers. So these are nothing fancy, as you can see. Some of the materials I used are mostly just book pages. I like to use different kind of languages. I think that makes it more interesting. And on some of them I used some fabric as well. Then I have some that are just the book pages. Here I used a little bit of my copper gilding wax that I haven't used in a while. Then I have some where I actually added a little bit of lace, like this. Here's some more fabric underneath. And you see they have different shapes. The petals have different shapes, and I will show you, of course, how to do that. Here's some more Christmassy styled ones. So this one is only paper. It's a mixture of colored book pages and designer paper. Here and here we have some fabric in between as well, mixed with some book page and designer paper. And I'm really loving these colors right here. I think these remind me so much of like Arabic, Moroccan kind of colors, warm colors. And I just love these. So I want to make some more of these, but maybe we'll make another like more of a Christmassy style as well. Let's see what we come up with. But first, let me show you what I like to use. So what I did is I got out some book pages, and I have here some in different languages just to keep it interesting. What to watch out for when you use book pages is to be sure that they are not too brittle. If you're using vintage books especially, you have to be able to fold and crease them without them falling apart. So that is definitely a very important feature. So I have different ones here. These are from various nature books. This is a really beautiful old German script. This one as well is again a different kind of paper. And I tried to use thin paper because we're gonna have to fold it a few times. So if you use thick book pages, you're gonna have a hard time. Here's some English as well. What do we have here? This is some German. Different colors, different textures, different fonts, different languages. I think it's great to mix it all up. And then what I also used are some designer paper, something like this, like your 6x6 papers or whatever. Just grab what you have that has colors that you like. These again are the thin pages. They don't need to have back sides. They can be one-sided. And they could even be smaller because we'll be using small squares. I did some coloring on my book pages because, well, that's how I got these. I just colored them. So some of them I colored with my distress stain paint daubers. So that would be these blue ones are the tumbled glass, and the yellow are the wild honey. But you absolutely do not need these. I've done, for example, the orange and the green and the red. I have just done with watercolor, and this one as well. So I used this palette here that I have put together myself from just using a tin that I had, or actually a tin that I bought specifically from Hearst Castle in California, one of my favorite places on this earth. And it was chocolate sea salt caramels, which were also delicious. But I really just bought it because I had to have this box, and I had in mind that I wanted to put some watercolors in here. And this is a mixture of Van Gogh and Winsor and Newton watercolors, but it actually doesn't matter. Just use whatever you have. And then I used my wide brush just to make it easier. And I used some water and I just painted some. Why don't we do that with one of the pages, just so you see it, so you know I'm not just talking. Maybe we can first do one with the daubers, because that's just much quicker. I'll just use the tumbled glass, just so you see how fast it is when you have these kind of daubers. So you just rub it on the page, and if you squeeze the bottle a little bit, then more comes out and your color will become more intense. And on the ones that I just showed you, I think I even went over it twice. So I went over it once, I let it dry, and then I went over it a second time just to make it more intense even. Yeah, so that is how quick it is with the dauber. But I will show you the watercolor as well, so that you see that it's almost as easy. So I have my water. I'll take this book page. And even though this is a water brush, I do like dipping it in water because it just works better that way. So what color shall we do? Do we want red? Do we want green? Let's do some, maybe a bit of a darker, muddier green. It's not that dark, is it? It's fine. So this would be maybe for some Christmassy ones. There, that's our green page. So it's really easy as well, and they dry very fast too. For the shapes of the petals, so we're gonna cut these by hand, but I just wanted to show you, because while I was cutting these, I realized I actually have dies which are flower petals, so they look like this. I've had them forever. I actually don't ever use them. This is what they look like when they are cut out. I mean, they're pretty, and so they come in different sizes for layering, so you could totally, of course, do that if you have something like this. But actually, I have come to realize that I prefer the little wonky ones, the handmade ones, to these like professional looking ones. Then I would probably just mix these up with the hand cut ones. That might be really cute, but I would not just use these, which is probably why I've never used them, or hardly ever used them before. So I will take these to the side. Maybe we'll use some of these. Oh, and I also found I have one of these punches. So this one I've used in some of the centers. That's a really good center, actually. So I have it here, and here, and here. So those make really cute centers. And also I have this star, and that's also a cute center. So you see that here. So I have it here as well. But we don't need punches for the center. I have plenty of centers here that have that are hand cut. For example, here, this center here is hand cut. This one here is hand cut. So I'm gonna show you these petals now. Maybe we'll start off with a more Christmassy one. So I will use the red. So we have our page here, and what we need, we always need squares. No matter what petal shape we do, we always start off with a square. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this off, because I don't want the part where there's no text. So now I have an edge here, and I'm just gonna fold a corner approximately the size that I want to start out with. And it really doesn't matter what you start out with. Just start with something. I'm not even going to give you measurements because it's really not necessary. Just start off with something. And then you'll see once you have that petal, you'll go bigger or smaller or whatever to make different layers. So now I've cut out this triangle. So if I open that up, we now have a square. Okay. So there's actually only 2 different ways to fold to make all these different petal shapes that I have done. Really easy. I have my square. I'm gonna fold it down once. And don't even worry about being super exact. It is not necessary. I'm gonna make sure I have a nice crease. Then I fold it again in half. So now I have a small square. And then I fold it a 3rd time, which then again forms a triangle. Okay, so we have a triangle here. Now, what's important is to see where you're gonna make your petal shape. So what you want is, you want the side where there's only 1 fold to be on the right-hand side, and the other ones that are folded are here on the bottom. All the open parts are on the top. That is important, because if you have the open parts on the bottom, it's gonna fall apart once you cut it, and we don't want that. So usually I would not even draw it, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna draw the shape that I'm going to cut out, and I'm gonna zoom you down further because this is small now. So we're gonna start off with the easiest petal shape, which is just like a rounded thing here. So I'm just gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna cut along there. So we have this. So let's see what this looks like when we open it up. And we have our first petal shape. Very simple. And if you see now, for example, this indent maybe isn't as far as I want it to be. So let's just fold it back up again if we don't like that. And just make this a little more rounded. You can always adjust these. There. Now that's better. So there's our first little flower. How cute is that? So then I want something green, because we're gonna do Christmassy. So now I want to do a different shape, but the method, we're gonna start off the same. I'm just gonna cut off these edges. I'm gonna fold a triangle. Now I wanna, so if this is as big as I wanna go, I'm gonna maybe do this next one here a little bit smaller. You could keep it about the same size and then just make the petals smaller. Again, I'm going to just cut along my triangle shape. And here I have my square. Now I'm gonna fold this one a little bit differently. I'm going to start off by folding the triangle that I just had before. Then I again fold the triangle in half, making sure I have good creases. Again, fold it in half. Now again, we're going to check that we want the one single fold is on my right, the other folds are on my left, and all the open ones are on the top. Now I'm going to draw a little bit of a different shape. Just gonna be more kind of like a leaf. I really like that shape. So that looks like this. Let's see what this will look like. So there we go. So if we now layer these, we already have 2 cute layers here. Maybe we find some patterned paper. That would be fun to use. Let's see if I have anything. I do have this one, which looks Christmassy to me. Would that work? I don't know. We'll see. So again, I'm gonna fold a triangle. Okay, again, we're going to do the triangle one. So one fold, then fold another triangle, but we're going to do it a little bit differently this time. Make sure you crease well, then you fold in one more time to create another triangle. So that's as far as we went with this one, but we're actually going to fold one more time. So now we fold the small tip, so the ones that meet at 90 degrees, we fold onto the line of the other one. Make sure you even crease that so it looks like this. And then again, we're going to turn it, have my one fold on the right, the other folds on the left, and the open ones on the top. And again, we're going to draw a petal. This time it's going to be more narrow, of course. Let's see what this one will look like. It's always a surprise to see what they will look like in the end, which I think is really fun. So let's see. Okay, so now we have this one here. So I could put that on top, or do I want it in between? No, I don't think I want that much green showing. So maybe like this. This way the green just peeks out a little bit, which is fine. So I'm going to make yet a smaller one. And I want to encourage you to play around with the different shapes of the petals and try folding maybe your paper in different ways and just see what happens. You might be surprised at what gorgeous results that you're gonna get. So now again, I'm just folding it in half and in half, and a triangle. Again, we have the one fold on the right, the multiple folds on the left, the opens at the top. And what do we do this time? I think I want to make another one of these with the tip. I kind of like those. So it's this shape which kind of looks weird like this, but hopefully it won't look so weird when we cut it out. So there we go. I really like that. And we could add that here. Yes, I do like that. So I think that is a very Christmassy flower. You can ink up the edges if you want. I think in this case I actually won't. We'll have to think about what center piece we will give it. First I'm just gonna glue these together, or I'm gonna think, do I want something else in the middle? Should we put a star here? Let's see, we could take our green one and see if we'd want a star maybe. See, my book page is very thin, so it's probably not gonna work well with my punch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a piece of scrap copy paper underneath, and that way the punch will punch it much better. Yeah, I like that. That is cute. So now so I'm wondering if I should just ink up this one. No, I won't. I'm gonna use my art glitter glue because it has a nice and fine tip to just glue these down. And when I am layering these, I'm paying attention to these tips. I would not put together with the tips of the green. I would rather stagger them and have the red in between the greens. I'm not sure you can see that well enough. Now we need to think about what do we want as a center. We could add a button, but somehow I don't really want to add a button. For some of them, like you see here and here, for example, I added these shiny flower type sequins type things. I don't know what you call them. I'm actually amazed that I kept these when I was discarding all of the art supplies I no longer use. I mean, the sequins, yes, I understand, but these, because I don't really use any glittery stuff or anything like that. But now I'm happy I have them, because especially for Christmas, I think these are great. So we could either do a golden one or a red one, I would say. So let's see what the red one would look like. That is very, very Christmassy, in my opinion. Let's compare it with the golden one. That is also very Christmassy. Now that is a difficult choice. So that's the gold. And that's the, but I think I need the red. Yep, the red I think is more Christmassy. So I'll just glue that on as well. So there's our first Christmassy paper flower. Okay, let's do another one which is non-Christmassy, and maybe we'll add some fabric in between or on the bottom somewhere. We'll see. Let's maybe try some of the blue. So I'll take some of this Japanese. I'm not sure actually it's Japanese. It could be Chinese. I'd say it's Japanese, but I could be wrong. So we're starting off with our triangle. They are quite addictive, I have to warn you. So which one do we do? Let's just do it in half like this. And in half again. And then we do the triangle. Maybe we do another triangle. I mean, we just, not another triangle, we just fold this even more narrow, our triangle. So then we have this shape. Let's see what happens if we actually have it like this and we do our petal this way rather than doing it this way. It probably doesn't matter, but we'll see. It's no tragedy if in the end this falls apart. It's totally fine. It's all just a matter of experimenting. And you know what? Who says that we have to do rounded petals? Why don't we try this shape? No idea how this is going to look, but I am curious. So I'm just gonna cut here and here. Now this might be a disaster. Let's see. It's not falling apart. That's a good thing. Ta-da! I actually love it. It's like a star. It's great. Maybe let's do some fabric now. Let's try this one. I think they go together quite well. And I'm going to treat this fabric just like a paper. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm also just going to crease it just like a paper. And then we cut our square. Unfold it. I'm gonna do the one where I just fold it in half, making sure to crease it. It's astonishing how well fabric actually creases like this. I didn't know that. Go like this, and then we form our triangle. And this one I will do with pencil. Turning it again so I have my one fold here, the other folds here, and the tops are open. This is not a pencil. This is a pencil. Why don't we do the one with the nice tip? So just like that. Now this is of course a bit harder to cut, so you need good scissors, preferably fabric scissors. Otherwise it's going to be really tricky. There we go. Let's see how they work together. Yep, that is cute. Now I want some of this bright orange. You'll see, you'll get a hang of this really easily. If you do a few, then you'll be addicted anyway. Now I'm gonna do the triangle one again. So one triangle, two triangles, three, and I'll leave it at that. And I'll just do that irregular petal shape. Just want to be sure I don't want to see any of my black marker. That's why usually I don't like to draw it. I just cut it so I don't have to worry about it. There we go. How cute. Maybe we put this one on this and then this over it. And then I think we need some more blue. Yeah, I don't know which way we'll put it in the end. But we need a blue one for sure. And this one needs to be smaller. For this, I will do the triangle again. So again, making sure I have the open parts on the top. Then making kind of like this petal shape, but more narrow. Still kind of big, isn't it? It's not getting smaller, so maybe I will take one of these die cuts now. Could use this one. Oh, that is so cute. I love that. Yep, totally gonna do that. Love these warm colors. Actually, they're not warm colors because the blue is a cold color. But in total, it just seems so warm to me for some reason. Maybe it's because it's heartwarming. Again, I'm trying to not glue all the way in the middle. And here I'm making sure that the tips are always between two of those petals. And for this one, yeah, I want to put a brad. So I have these very cheap brads that I found locally. And I think that with these colors, what's very cute are the rose gold ones. And I have some floral shaped ones like this one here. And we could add that. Or actually, maybe I would prefer one of these turquoise sequins because that turquoise is so beautiful. Yep, that's what it's gonna be. So I must say this, you know, the making these things, like also the snippet rolls and the collage rolls that I've done in the past, which I will link for you. Whoops, what am I doing? I'm putting glue everywhere except where it's supposed to go. That's not good. Oh, but now I sequence. What is the single word for sequence? Is it sequence? My sequence isn't as shiny anymore because it's got glue all over it. No, that won't do. That won't do at all. We need a new one. I'm sorry. It needs to be shiny. I was inspired to do these, like to have ephemera on hand, because I've been obsessed watching Tina's videos from Shabby Dabby Doodah. And she had this series where she was mass producing ephemera and then putting it in journals. And even though I'm not making these for journals, I'm selling at the moment, it's just really nice to have these kind of things ready to go for decorating in your journal. So look at that. So these are the two we've made. Very, very different. Let's do a neutral toned one, maybe with some lace. Always the same thing. And so one of the things that Tina was making in her videos, but this is a while back, I will see if I can find that maybe for you, is she made these lace flowers and they were absolutely adorable. And she used lace that I'm guessing was dyed with maybe food coloring. Beautiful, beautiful lace. And then she cut circles out of the lace. And then she folded the circles in half and then glued them, always two halves together. And then the next layer she did like this and then like this again. And they're just the most adorable flowers. But of course, doing that makes them also quite puffy or bulky. So I'm a bit hesitant to use flowers that puffy in my journals, which is why I would rather keep them a little bit more flat like these. These aren't too bulky at all, actually. But if you're going to use them for something else which is not inside your journal, I think those would be fabulous. So now I'm going to do it without drawing first, but it's the same. I'm doing the same thing basically. So I have the one fold, the multiple folds, and the open on the top. And I'm just going to cut a petal shape. Very, very simple. And what Tina does is she actually glues them on a round base, which is very smart. So she has like this cardboard circle and then she glues the laces on that to give it more stability. But I think with the paper, we don't really need that. So now if we want to add some lace, so for example, I have these two kinds of lace here. They're both very thin, so they're easy to work with. So maybe let's try it with this. And what Tina does, actually let's try Tina's method, because what I did before is I just, again, treated it like paper. So I folded it, cut it, and then did the same thing. But actually now I'm curious to try Tina's method. So I'm actually just gonna fold this in half, because this way I can cut two circles at once. And I'm going to attempt to cut circles. Tina just cut circles by hand like this. So let's see if I can do that too. I don't know that I can cut a circle without drawing it, but let's see, maybe I can. Oh, okay, they are still connected, so maybe we should separate them like this. Okay, I have my two circle-ish elements. So what Tina does is she folds them in half, and then she'll glue them like one like this, and she'll fold this one and then glue that like this. So because then you have this cute layering, which is absolutely adorable. So I think I will do that, but not just yet. I need another layer here, and I'm thinking, should I combine it with this? Is that boring? Or I also have one that I've colored like this. I actually like this color. It's kind of a greenish, yellowish, beige something. Okay, this one I'm gonna fold the other way again. The kind of leaf shape again, like this. I think this is my favorite shape. This is so cute. So we have this now. And then we could put another neutral one. So we again have this shape. And I'm just going to cut, or should we do a, well, let's do a straight one. Oh, but this might be too small to see under the lace. We'll see. No, it's not that small, so there we go. Now we can hardly see the other one. Why don't we do this? Yeah, why don't we do this? Oh, should we put one of these behind it? Just peek out a tiny bit. Why don't we do that? So let's try it with the lace. Let's see if it will hold. Tina does it with glue stick, not glue stick, what am I talking about? With her heat gun. But I don't want to get my heat gun up for this. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of using my heat gun because I'm no good with it. This is not holding. I know why Tina uses her heat gun, because this is not easy with a wet glue. Okay, so we're gonna have to put a brad in here, which will then help it to stay down. So I'm gonna use my pokey tool to poke right through the middle, in between the two lace halves, like that, and then put a brad through. This is a, I believe this is a Tim Holtz one, but it's nice and big and really can help to keep the lace down. Make sure it's really nice and flat. And there's our next flower. Okay, so 3 very different flowers in a very short time. And I promised I would show you how to use them in a journal. So if I take the signature that I'm currently working on, I'm almost done with this one. What do I still need? I need something here and I need something here. And I think I'm going to use one of these flowers as a belly band. And what I'm gonna do is, I made these snippet rolls off camera, but I do have a video showing how I make these snippet rolls, and I have one showing a fall themed one where I have some mushrooms and some other fall themed illustrations on it. But I also made this one and I kind of left it without any images on it so that it would be versatile for whatever I need it for. And now this is perfect because I can now just use a piece. So I'm gonna tear this to the size that I need. Like that. I think I'll turn it around. And then I just need to decide which of these do I want. I have the yellow here, so any of these would actually fit, but I really want something with the orange in it. I want a pop of color. So, or the blue. So this is beautiful. So is this, and this, and this is maybe a bit small. Oh, this one is stunning as well, as is this one. No, I think I really want something with the orange. So it's one of these three. This one, I kind of want something big, I think. Like this one is amazing. Or this one. This is the one we just made now. I really love this one. I think this might be my favorite one. This one actually has some fabric in between here. Yeah, I'm gonna use this one, so I will pop that on there. These are really the last drops of my art glitter glue. That right in the center. And then I just need to glue the top and the bottom onto my page. And now I need to find something to put into the belly band. So a really long time ago, I got this beautiful paper bag, and it's fall themed, as you can see. So it actually says autumn. How cool. It's just coming loose a little bit. I think this was napkins, but I really want to use, actually a glue stick will work better. I really want to use this bag. I've been hoarding it for so long, but I think this might be a good page to use it. I am so happy with each piece that I can give a home to in my journal. So this is a bit too big, unfortunately. It's as big as the page, so I do need to trim it down a little bit. Let's see if this will fit in here. Yeah, that will work nicely. But I do want to put like a half circle in here to make it easier to access the inside. So I have my half circle punch, and I'll just punch through both pages, both sides of the bag. And now what I want to put inside is I found these two vintage cards that I want to include as well. They have some information on the back, and I really want to give these two a nice home. So they will go in here. Peeking out a little bit, hopefully that will still work. Yes! Okay, perfect. Yep, so that's today's page using a belly band. Obviously, there's many other things you can do with your paper flowers. You could use them to embellish pockets or maybe a corner tuck spot. Let's see what that would look like quickly. Maybe we just make it. Let's just make it. Because we have this page left. Let's just find a book page. Should we even use a yellow one? Why not use a yellow one? Or is that too much? I mean, the yellow is beautiful because these are, these are Tina's beautiful prints here from Shabby Dabby Doodah. I used her kit for this. And this yellow is beautiful together with that. That brings out the yellow on her digis. So let's do that. Just gonna trim this down. Then I will do this. I'm not making a flower, I'm just making a corner tuck spot. And I want it folded because I want it to be a little bit more sturdy than if I just cut out a triangle. So I want it folded this way, like that. So I will first glue the triangle together, like that. I'll just glue these two sides down. And let's pop one of these on there. I do want a colorful one. Which of the two? This is more vintage. This has more bold colors. I'm trying to see what works better with Tina's digis here. I'm gonna go with the vintage. There's a decorated corner tuck spot. Oh, I do happen to have this on my desk. I'm just gonna trim this down and then see what that looks like if we just put that in the pocket. I've cut it down, and this I am going to ink around. Or actually, I want round corners on this one. That's better. And I should have done that before. I think I want to cover the back side with some coffee dyed paper so that I can actually journal on that. Or even better, I'm gonna use my 200 GSM beige cardstock and glue that on with my glue stick. Okay, so now we have a beautiful journaling card, which we can just stick in here, and then I can think about what I wish to journal on. Thanks as always for hanging out with me. Hope you give these a try and have as much fun as I'm having. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.